Welcome to a Scoreboard tutorial with me, TNC1997. So in this episode, I'm going to be going over all of the awesome stuff that you can do with the scoreboard, and also some command block information as well related to the scoreboard. So first things first, we're going to have a look at the objectives. So the very first command, to basically set up an objective, you're going to want to type scoreboard objectives add kills player kill count kills. Now if you want to type this in the chat, just stick a slash before the scoreboard as if it was a command, and basically I'll tell you what this means. You've got the scoreboard, which is obviously what you're going to do, and the objectives, that is the type of the scoreboard. Then you've got add, because you want to create a new objective, you want to add one, and then kills, that's the name that you will use in command blocks and in the commands. And then the type of the objective, so player kill count, that is the kills for players. And there is another one, I'll go through the list of them, where you can do total kill count, which is players and mobs. And then finally, on the end, you want to type the display name. So I've just put that as kills. You could put it as player kills or something like that. So you just click that button there. And now you're probably thinking, well, how do I know that's created? All you're going to want to do is slash scoreboard objectives list. And then if you look, it's showing one objective on the scoreboard, which is kills, which displays as kills, and it's the type player kill count. So you can also do that, and then as you add objectives, they'll appear on that list. And then the next command is scoreboard objectives set display sidebar kills. So if you remember kills, that's the name that's used in the commands from what we got from the other command block. And obviously again, slash just turns it into a command you can use in the chat. So set display, and then there are three different displays. You've got the sidebar, which displays on the side of the screen, like the right hand side of your Minecraft screen. And then below name, it appears below your name tag. And then list, it appears on the list, where if you press tab in, it will appear between your name and the signal. So we're set it as the sidebar, and so just press that in. Now it won't come up in the sidebar automatically if no one's got any kills. So basically what you do is, I'll go down there in a minute and give myself some kills, and then that will put me onto the sidebar. And then scoreboard objectives remove kills, as you see the name again from the first command block, and that just removes that objective, but we don't want to do that yet. What I will do is, if I run down here, I will there we go, scoreboard players add TNC kills 1. I'll go over that in a minute. And then if you look, I appear on the board on the right hand side on the display. So the other, for example, objectives you could have add money, and that's just the dummy. Basically the dummy, you can only change it by using commands. It's not something that can be increased like the player kill count, where it counts how many times you kill the player and that increases it. It can only be increased by using the command blocks and commands. So this is useful particularly for money, because then you can have, just I've put it as money and money. Then if I create that, then again, scoreboard objectives list, and now comes up kills and also money, and it's the type dummy. And then set display, we'll set the money as the list, so click that, and then I have 0 money. So that's how it displays it on the list. And you can also then add and remove money, so that's useful for setting up shops. Rather than having to do XP shops, for example, you can actually have it so it could be proper money currency rather than using XP. And then obviously that's the objectives to remove. And the final one I've got in the command blocks is health. Now this is displaying your health, and the best place I find to put it is below the name, which is what some people have put in custom maps and things like that, and also in PvP maps as well. So that is the objective health. So again, health, 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 quite self-explanatory really. to do with the health, so just click that. And then again, if you look, it appears at the bottom is the type health. So then scoreboard objectives, set display below name, do that. And then obviously it won't display it below my name because I'm the only player and I'm looking at myself, so it doesn't display that. But when you look at another person, it will appear just below their name or their gamer tag, whatever you want to call it. And then the last one is just to remove that objective. So those are the three, probably what I find to be the most useful. However, I will now go through, I'll now tell you about all the objectives, scoreboard objectives. Then if you just press tab in, there we go, add. And then we just type a name in, so I don't know, test. And then there you have all of the objectives. So we've done health, we've done player kill count, but total kill count, that is what I explained just a few minutes ago about it's the amount of kills you get on everyone, players, mobs, and everything. And then death count, what you can do with the death count is that is how many times someone dies and counting their deaths then. So instead of counting the kills, it counts the deaths. And then you've got the dummy, which I explained with the money objective. So those are all the objectives you can use at the moment, and I'm sure they will be updated to add a whole more list of objectives, but there's quite a few to be getting started with. And now we move on to the players. So I did that. I added myself, and I gave my kills 1. What you can also do then, scoreboard players set, then the name of the player. You could also use @P, @R, @A to the nearest random or all players, and then money 5. So if I press tab in, if you look, that will then set my money to 5, which could then be obviously use commands like that. I'll get round to the remove one in a minute. Then that sets my kills to 5. So there we go, kills are now 5 on the display. Then if I add money 1, that then it increases my money by 1. And obviously add kills 1. So what you do, scoreboard players add, then a certain player's name, or just using the @, and then the objective, and then however much you want to add it by. So just press that. There you go, you can see my kills have just gone up by 1. And then scoreboard players remove the money. Again, you can do that the same as just add. You just replace the add with remove and put the number in. There you go, I'm now back to 0 money. And then, so that's also useful. You could link it up and have it linked up with a /give. So you could give the player an item and then remove the money from them, which is also useful for the shops. And then that again removes the kills. So then to the penultimate one, scoreboard players reset TNC 1997. What that will do, it will reset. So if you look, I'm up there and I'm on the kills as well. If I then reset my stats, it then takes me off. It still has my money, but it takes me off of the sidebar. And then you can add, if you look, I was explaining earlier, @pin, that will then add the nearest person, gives them 1 kills. So that's all of the player stuff that you can do with the scoreboard. And then scoreboard teams. This is all of the team stuff which you can do, which is, oh, dear me, could do fences on the end of that. So that is then, so this is what you can do, useful with PvP maps. For example, scoreboard teams add red team. That then creates the team red team. So if I just click that, that will now create a team called red team. So to check that, just go to scoreboard teams and then just tab along if you want to list. And there you go. Red team, and the red team has 0 players at the moment. So what we want to do, we want to join the red team. So there I just put it @R, so it does a random player. You could put anyone in, you could put names in there as well. So there we go, obviously because it's a random, it just targets someone random. All I will do is down here, I've got it set up actually so it adds, there we go, adds the nearest player in. So I will now be on the red team, but there's nothing to say that I'm on the red team, apart from obviously if you just do the list, it's got one player in it. But obviously, the good thing to do with the teams is to change the colours. So what you can do is Scoreboard Teams, Option, Red Team, Colour Red. I notice it's American, COLOR. Don't put a U in there, otherwise it won't recognise it as the command. So clicking this, if you have a look at my name tag on the right, it then changes it to red, because I'm on the red team. So that's good. There's 3 options. You've got the colour, friendly fire, and see friendly invisibles. The friendly fire, you can set that to true or false. I would set it to false, which means that people on the red team can't hurt other people on the red team. So then the see friendly invisibles, set that to true or false. That basically means if they're on your team, should they be invisible or can you see them slightly? So they're not like opaque or transparent, that sort of thing. Setting it to true means that you can see them. False means they're invisible. So I've just set it to true so that you can see everyone on your team as well. And then you've got Scoreboard Teams empty the red team. Well, that does. If you click on that, that then empties the entire red team. So that empties everyone out of the red team. Yeah, that was that one. And then Scoreboard Teams leave TNC 1997, or obviously app P, any of the apps. That then makes that person leave the team. And then also you've got Teams remove the red team. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in and join the red team. There we go, so I'm back in the red team now. And then, last but not least, the Scoreboard Test 4. Now this is very useful for testing what people have. So you could test for their kills and things like that. So test 4 at P or at R or at A, whichever one. And then in a radius of 10, the score kills is a minimum of 6. If you don't have the minimum, it will go with a maximum. So it will be everyone under that, or using a minimum, it's everyone over that. And you have to put the score in front of it as well, because it's to do with the scoreboard. If you don't put the score in front of it, it won't work. I made that mistake first time around as well. You won't be the only one. So then a minimum of 6. So when I click that, nothing happens because I've only got 1 kill. So if I go down to the players, and let me try and find it, add kills 1. Actually, I need to do, what's that one? There we go, set kills to 5. And then add a kill. So there we go. You can also just type it in the chat if you want for ease, but I'll just use that for now. So the Scoreboard Test 4, if I click that now, if you look, it lights up the redstone lamp because I'm in the radius of 10 and I've got a minimum of 6 kills. So I've got another one then here, which is test 4, the nearest player in a radius of 10 who's on the red team whose score equals a minimum of 6. So again, I will light this one up because I'm on the red team, I'm within 10 blocks and I've got 6 kills. So you could quite literally just go on for, you know, all of your objectives, and you could have really quite a long command. But obviously there is a maximum amount of characters you can have in the command block. So yeah, and also another thing to note, don't put a space after the comma. You should not have a space and just literally carry on. Just use a comma and then the next bit of the command. And then finally, we've got test 4. The nearest player in a radius of 10, score kills equals 1. So if I click this, I don't light it up because that's a maximum kills of 1. So that can be useful for testing for maybe a new person on the server or doing the map. It could then give them like the default sort of loadout if you want, like a default class. And then as they get up, as their kills get raised sort of higher and higher, it will then won't give that to them. So what we want to do is we want to go to remove money, remove kills, that's the one. So if I set my kills back to 0 again, when I click these, for example, the lamps will go out because I don't obviously have the 6 kills, but this lamp will then come on. because I've got under a maximum of 1. So now we move on to the more advanced test for commands, and I've got to try and stick to the path here, otherwise it will use me in the command. So what we've got the redstone, the basic sort of clock design, and that basically obviously, well, does what it says on the tin really. It transmits the redstone constantly, because obviously the other ones, the other test 4s, obviously I've done it so you have to click the button in, but this will just keep checking when it gets the redstone pulse. So this one is test 4, the nearest player in a radius of 5 who's on the red team who's got a minimum of 6 kills. So at the moment, as you can see, it's not outputting anything. But if I give myself, actually I'll just show you what it's like in the chat. Scoreboard, players, add TNC 197, kills, and then put 6 in. That will add my kills by 6. So that's how you do it in the chat. And then if you look, it's teleporting me over here, because I have set that next command block after it to teleport the player over to here on this little target over here. And then the final, last but not least, is over here, and that is teleport all the players in a radius of 2 who are on the red team to onto this little red pad over here. So it's in a radius of 2, so what I'll do, it doesn't matter my kills, so I could go to scoreboard, players, remove my kills by 6. That removes 6 kills. And then when I step off this path and this gets activated, it teleports me onto this little red target over here. So that's useful for teleporting people into maybe team lobbies, things like that. I'm making a PvP map at the moment that does use a lot of these scoreboard commands, so I may well in the future release that map. And what I might do as well is put this map out if I can, but I think this tutorial is okay for now to give you the know-how of the scoreboard. And so yeah, I think that's about it really. We've gone over the objectives, the players, the teams, and then the test 4 commands. And obviously what I did with this one over here, instead of using the test 4 and then putting a redstone output and then another command block with tpin, I just went straight in for the tpin at all and then put the what it had to be in, and then the teleport coordinates. Just one thing to add before I go as well. If you're outputting from a command block, you'll have to use a redstone comparator and not the redstone repeater. And the comparator, that's this one here. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. And that's about it for the scoreboard. That's all you should need to know really. So if you are making a PvP map, I hope that helped. Or I hope that helped in general really, even if you're not. And thanks for watching. And I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.